Okay, let's do this. Black Label Society with their 10th album, Grimmest Hits, which I thought was a funny name for the album. Makes it sound like it's a greatest hits album, but it's not. It's a brand new album. As most of you know, Black Label Society is a southern rock slash groove metal band with one consistent member, that being Zakk Wylde, the old Ozzy Osbourne guitarist. I think he still does actually work with Ozzy. And they've been doing this for quite a while. Like I said, this is the 10th album. So having put out so much stuff, you'd think that they'd be really good at this by now. And I guess if this is your thing, you might enjoy this. But, okay, no spoilers. Let's just get into it. So the first 3 tracks on this album, you can pretty much lump them all together. They're got the same tempo, the same kind of groove going to them, the same song structure pretty much, and they're all pretty forgettable to me. They're all in the groove metal style that Black Label Society has really made themselves famous for. I didn't really like any of these tracks. They just all were pretty boring to me, to be honest. They didn't do anything that really excites you. The only thing consistently good on every song throughout this entire album is Zakk's solos. Those continue to shred and continue to be badass. But other than that, nothing else really that great going on here. Even Zakk's voice is just, he doesn't do anything crazy or exciting on the vast majority of these tracks. These first 3 especially are what I'm talking about. At the 4th track, we have All That Once Shined, and it slows down the tempo a little bit, finally does something to change up the album. I'm still not crazy about this track, but it at least did something to start putting some variety in the music here. We have The Only Words, which is basically a grunge song. It sounds like it was written by Pearl Jam or Alice in Chains, and it's not bad. It's like I said, it's grunge. It was interesting to hear Zakk Wylde sing in a more, he uses more of like his southern rock tones of his voice, if you know what I mean. Some of the same vocal styles you might hear in like Lynyrd Skynyrd or ZZ Top, bands like that. Zakk Wylde actually is pretty good at doing those styles of vocals, so that did kind of help to bring the album up a little bit for me. Honestly, there's a couple of grunge tracks on this album, and they're really kind of my favorites. And then we get Room of Nightmares. It's boring, like the first 3 tracks. The Day That Heaven Had Gone Away is just a straight up southern rock song. It's not bad, like I said. I'd like these songs where they go outside of their groove metal characteristics a little more than the groove songs, honestly. I just am not feeling the riffs that they wrote for the album in the groove metal songs. They're just boring to me. They're not exciting. I think it's partly on the production. I don't think this is a great job on the production. It's not that it sounds bad or it doesn't sound clean. It's just the guitar doesn't really hit you like you think it should. In a band where obviously the guitar is the lead instrument and the instrument that is supposed to carry everybody else. Everybody else is there to make Zakk Wylde look good, like, to be honest. That is what this band is about. And in this production, I'm not feeling the guitar have the impact that I feel like it should. So maybe that is a little bit of it, as well as, you know, that the songwriting is not that great, like I said, but the production is certainly not doing it any favors either. The album closes with a track called Nothing Left to Say, which for the first half is basically entirely acoustic, and then in comes like the rest of the band and some electric guitar about halfway through. This song actually has my favorite guitar solo on the entire album. I really enjoyed it. It's just an absolute shredder, but it just also works well with the song. You know, songs can have a great shredding guitar solo and it doesn't really feel like it fits in. That's not gonna do the song the favors it should be doing. A super shredding guitar solo can actually kind of take you out of the atmosphere that the song may be creating, or make you just be like, what's going on here? This doesn't really fit in. It's really impressive, but it doesn't really fit in. But not on this track. Nothing left to say. I thought it fit in really well with the song, and it is an absolute shredder. There is nobody that can deny that Zakk Wylde can shred with the best of them. In conclusion, guys, there's nothing on this album that really impresses me all that much. None of the songs are just inherently straight up bad. Most of them are just plain boring. That's the sad thing about it. I can't just say this song is 100% bad for this reason. There's some enjoyment to be derived from each song, I think, but it's like every song is just below average. Almost every song, I should say. There's so many that are just plain boring and forgettable, and I'll never go back and listen to them because they're not worth going back and listening to. For the reasons I've mentioned, the album I feel is below average, so I'm going to score it a 4 out of 10. If you enjoy this style of metal and southern rock a whole lot, you might find a lot more enjoyment out of this than I did, but honestly, between the production not being what I thought it should have been, the songwriting just being kind of boring, it's just not a very high scoring album for me. Didn't enjoy it that much, but I want to know what everyone else thinks of it. So if you've heard Grimmest Hits, let me know in the comments as to if you liked it, or why you liked it, or why you didn't like it. I like to have discussions as to why someone either agrees or disagrees with me, as long as it's good conversation and doesn't turn into a screaming fit. But this is the YouTube comments we're talking about, so what do you think is going to happen? We'll see. So I will see you guys in the next video. Stay tuned, subscribe, Facebook, Twitter, do all those things. Follow me around on all those things. Later.